Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business and let's wake up my football gods. Wake up there, guys. Man, here it is. It is Tuesday evening, and my God, we are 74 days, 5 hours, 36 minutes, and 27 seconds to Super Bowl Sunday. There's only six freaking games left for our Dallas Cowboys. And everyone is critical. And I mean, it is critical at this point. And it does not get easy because we take on the New England Patriots and we got to face that guy. That guy right there, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, the New England Patriots. They have been the gold standard for, hell, last 15, 16 years. They have been, let's face it, the best football team maybe in the history of football. Bill Belichick, they got more rings than anybody else. Tom Brady, a guy who nobody thought was going to be anything, ends up being the best quarterback ever. So the Cowboys have to play them. We're 6-4. You know what everybody's saying. We're hearing that Dak Prescott is now in conversation of being MVP. Having the best season of his career. He is stepping up to another level. But the detractors will say, yeah, but you haven't beaten anybody. And I agree because, I guess the best team we've beaten is the Eagles, and they're definitely nobody. I mean, they're 500 right now. So I guess you look at that and say, okay, they did have a winning record when we beat them. Now they're at 500. I agree with you on that. But you know what? You play the people that are in front of you. And Vegas already has New England as a 6.5-point favorite. You're playing in Foxborough. The weather's been cold here on the East Coast for the last, week or two, and probably it'll be cold in New England. Cowboys are an indoor team. And you're playing against probably the best football mind in football, and that's Bill Belichick. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a crazy statement here because it was about a year ago that I said that the Dallas Cowboys, you want playoffs. I said every week for the Dallas Cowboys from here on in is playoffs. And I remember sitting over there at the bar because somebody had ticked me off to the point where I said, you know what, I guarantee that the Cowboys will end up being the New Orleans Saints. And people laughed at me, especially New Orleans fans. I got trolled relentlessly that week. But somehow, some way, the Dallas Cowboys came up with the victory. Now, you're sitting here looking at it, you're saying you're going against Tom Brady and the number one defense in football. Dallas Cowboys got no chance in hell, is what they're telling you. But here's the thing. I'm a numbers guy, I'm a stats guy, and as much as people say you can't rely on the stats, I tell you what, I will take my record of making predictions in football and I will put them against anyone. Anyone. Any of those guys on ESPN, those talking heads, those guys that said that Dak Prescott is a tier 3 quarterback? And I told you guys about the Power 4, that the fourth year, generally speaking, is winning step. And Dak Prescott is in the line of the Aaron Rodgers. He's in line with the Big Bens. He's in line with the Troy Aikman. He's in line with the Russell Wilsons. Even though people said, you are crazy, how dare you even put him in that kind of conversation? Because right now, Dak Prescott, last 3 games, 1,098 yards. Last week, 46 passes, 3 TDs, a 116 rating. 841 yards in the last 2 games, which is the most ever by Dallas Cowboys in back-to-back games. First Cowboy quarterback to ever have 3,000 yards in 10 games. And of course, 3,221 yards is the 10th highest total in a season, a whole season for the Dallas Cowboys in their whole history. 60 years. He's already, for this season, 10th highest total. He's got 3 games of 400 yards and was only 3 yards away from the 4th. If he happens to have a 400-yard game, that will be in there with Dan Marino, Peyton Manning, and Ryan Fitzpatrick as the only guys that have ever done that. But I'm not here to talk about Dak Prescott. You know I always pull a Shannon Sharp in here and throw in my little Dak jabs and stuff. But this is really about how do the Dallas Cowboys get a win. And I believe the Cowboys are going to get this win. Because here's the thing. As we look at the numbers, and I know numbers can be deceptive, and you can kind of prove a lot of things with statistics. But here's the thing. Not all numbers are created equal. Because as we look at New England's schedule here. Let's take a closer look at it, okay? They beat the Steelers 33. I'm sorry. Steelers got 3 points. They beat the Jets 30-14. They beat the Bills 16-10. Mind you, their defense scored a touchdown on there. So their offense only scored 9 points. They beat the Redskins 33-7. They beat the Giants 35-14. They beat the Jets 33-0. They beat the Browns 27-13, and they got their butts handed to them against the Ravens 37-20, and they beat the Eagles 17-10. Now, what do all of those teams have in common? I got to be honest with you. All those teams stink on offense. Seriously. If you go through with the offensive rankings on each of these teams, Steelers 28, Miami 29th, Jets 32nd, Bills 19th, which is the best offense. This is how bad the offenses are. The highest rated offense that they faced are the Buffalo Bills. Sorry, Eagle fans, you're rated at 23rd. You guys stink. So on average, with the Baltimore Ravens being, I'm sorry, I forgot the Baltimore Ravens, being number 1, they help skew the numbers. With the Baltimore Ravens in there, they average 24th worst offenses every week. Offenses that average, even with Baltimore in there, only 309 yards per game. So when you start thinking about the secondary, their secondary ranks second in the NFL. Sorry, but if you're playing the Jets without, Josh Allen, if you're playing the Miami Dolphins, if you're playing the Redskins, these aren't exactly teams that score a whole lot of points, because on average, if you go through points, all these teams by average, and including putting Baltimore in there, these teams only average 20 points a game. And as you go through this, the other thing that's interesting is, other than Baltimore, you really haven't faced a team that can run the football. So mind you, the 2 best offenses that New England has faced, let's take a look again. Buffalo, right? 16-10, they got the victory, congratulations. And Baltimore scored 37 and had almost 400 yards offense. Did a lot of damage. So as you look at this, and I got to tell you, I love seeing this. Seeing that the Dallas Cowboys with the number 1 offense versus the number 1 defense. And you could probably say the same thing about our offense. But I dare say that our offense has been consistent, where we are third, I believe, in points, scoring about 28 points a game. And the thing that I think is the Achilles heel for New England will actually be Zeke Elliott and the running game. They've got a great pass defense. They've averaged only 5.3 yards per pass play. Now, granted, they haven't really faced, other than Lamar Jackson, great quarterbacks. You got Dak Prescott, and you've got maybe one of the best wide receiving cores in the NFL. But the interesting thing is New England is giving up 4.6 yards per carry running the football. This gives you a game plan. This is where Zeke Elliott hopefully gets on track. This is where you start using Zeke Elliott a little bit differently. Just like you use Tony Pollard in the direct snap, just like you use Zeke Elliott a little more on the screen. These are things that are going to help you get that running game going and loosen up that secondary. The other thing I'm going to say that the Dallas Cowboys have that is something that can be an advantage to them is a pass rush. Tom Brady does not like pressure, especially at his feet and his face. You got the X factor to me in Michael Bennett, who, contrary to people saying he's going to be a cancer, he protested the anthem and stuff. I saw his behind in there helping to lead that team, get them motivated. I've seen him already in 3 games get 3 sacks. After being kind of dissed in mid-season with New England, do you think he might want to have a little bit of payback? You think he might want to share a little bit of the playbook with the Cowboys? I think he will be an X factor in going after Tom Brady's behind. I may be crazy, but this is one, and people have said that, well, you always think they're going to win. For the most part, yeah. But I give you reasons why I think that they have a chance to do it. And this is the one, for more than any other reason. One, Bill Belichick and Jason Garrett are good friends. And if the Cowboys win this one, this is the type of game that saves Jason Garrett's job. And like I told you, every year it seems like we are at that defining moment where we believe that Jason Garrett is done with the Dallas Cowboys. But some way, something always happens that changes the narrative. And here's the thing. If you are a Dallas Cowboy player, and I don't know if any of you will ever see this, ever hear this, or anything like this, understand, if you're going to get up for a game, you would want to get up for this one. This game is going to be the biggest game probably all regular season. This is going to be the game that if you go up in there to Foxborough and you whoop that ass, all of a sudden, things really change. And Dak Prescott, if you have any interest in being that MVP, you go up there and you get this win, they can take away this saying that you haven't beat anybody. Because now you're talking about beating a team that is trying to get to its 4th straight Super Bowl. Something only the Buffalo Bills did, but unlike Buffalo, they've been winning some of them. You win this one, all of a sudden everything changes for the Dallas Cowboys. So tomorrow when you guys get on the field, you better act like this is the Super Bowl, because it might just be a warm-up for the Super Bowl. I'm Mark Holmes, and well, feel free to leave your idiot comment on here because, hey, that's what I am. I'll see you guys soon.